Hello students, welcome to the world of animal tissues. Animals are complex organisms having different levels of organization. They have various types of tissues and organs. Organs are composed of a number of different types of tissues. Animals complex ਸਜੀਵ ਹਨ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ tissues ਅਤੇ organs ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ. Animals ਵਿੱਚ organs ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਕਿਸਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਟਿਸ਼ੂਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਣੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ. The type of tissue is not unique for any particular organ. All types of tissues are present in most organs, just as certain types of cells are found in many organs. For example, nerve cells and circulating blood cells are present in virtually all organs. Tissues in organs are precisely arranged so that they can work in harmony to perform a particular function. The word tissue is derived from a Latin word meaning to weave. Means cells that make up tissues are sometimes woven together with extracellular fibers. Hence, tissue may be defined as an assemblage of similar or dissimilar cells of the same origin that performs or helps to perform a specific or a common function. There are different types of tissues in animals. In this topic, the various animal tissues will be discussed and their organization into one specific organ will be studied. First of all, let us see how these cells, tissues and organs are organized in a living body. Animals ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਕਿਸਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ. ਇਸ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਐਨੀਮਲ ਟਿਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਸਪੈਸੀਫਿਕ ਆਰਗਨ ਦੀ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ. ਆਓ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇਹ ਵੇਖੀਏ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸੈਲਸ, ਟਿਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਅਤੇ ਆਰਗਨਸ ਇੱਕ ਲਿਵਿੰਗ ਬਾਡੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ਡ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ.
As you know that the multicellular organisms consist of different types of cells. These different types of cells cluster together in order to perform a specific function and form tissues. As you can see here, many epithelial cells combine to form epithelial tissue, which are generally a group of flat, compactly arranged cells. Similarly, many types of muscle cells, which are generally contractile, combine to form muscular tissue. It is also clear in the visual that many nerve cells form the nervous tissue, and similarly, blood cells form the blood vascular tissue. Many tissues then combine to form an organ. Different organs of the digestive system are stomach, small intestine, large intestine, etc. As we see here, these organs then collectively form a system. Here, these different organs form the digestive system. The digestive system, along with other body systems such as blood vascular system, respiratory system, excretory system, etc., work collectively and form an organism.
ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀਓ, ਐਨੀਮਲਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੁੱਖ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ 4 ਕਿਸਮ ਦੇ ਟਿਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ. ਇਹ ਹਨ ਐਪੀਥੇਲੀਅਲ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ, ਕਨੈਕਟਿਵ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ, ਮਸਕੂਲਰ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ ਅਤੇ ਨਰਵਸ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ. ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀਓ, ਇਹ ਹਨ ਐਨੀਮਲਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਟਿਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਦੀਆਂ 4 ਮੁੱਖ ਕਿਸਮਾਂ। ਪਰ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਨੈਕਟਿਵ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ ਦੀ ਟਾਈਪ ਵਸਕੂਲਰ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ ਤੇ ਧਿਆਨ ਕੇਂਦਰਿਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਕਨੈਕਟਿਵ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ ਦੀਆਂ ਕੁਝ ਹੀ ਮੁੱਖ ਕਿਸਮਾਂ ਹਨ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਵੰਡਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ: ਕਨੈਕਟਿਵ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰ, ਸਕੈਲੇਟਲ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ ਅਤੇ ਵਸਕੂਲਰ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ। ਪਰ ਇਸ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਵਸਕੂਲਰ ਟਿਸ਼ੂ ਤੇ ਧਿਆਨ ਕੇਂਦਰਿਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਆਓ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੀਏ। The vascular tissues arise from mesoderm of the embryo. These tissues have fluid matrix and free-floating cells. They circulate in the body. These tissues are also called as fluid tissues or specialized connective tissue. Vascular tissues ਦੋ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੇ ਹਨ: blood ਅਤੇ lymph। ਆਓ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਸਮਾਂ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਕਰਕੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰੀਏ। Blood. Everyone knows that we can't live without blood, and that the blood in our body is pumped by the heart through a network of arteries and veins. Blood is bright red colored vascular connective tissue that circulates in entire body. Blood is a specialized bodily fluid that delivers necessary substances to the cells of body, such as nutrients and oxygen, and transports waste products away from the same cells. Blood is essential for our good health because our body depends on a steady supply of food and oxygen to reach its billions of cells. Even our heart could not survive without blood flowing through the vessels that bring nourishment to its muscular walls. Blood also carries carbon dioxide and other waste materials to the lungs, kidneys, and digestive system. From there, they are removed from the body. Without blood, we can't keep our body warm at the constant body temperature. We can't fight infections, and we can't even get rid of our own waste products. So, how exactly does blood perform these functions? What is its composition? How does blood clot? It is time to learn a little about the mysterious life-sustaining fluid called blood. So let us learn about blood.
Blood is the body's liquid that gives us life. This blood is a mixture of two components: blood plasma, blood cells. An adult human body contains approximately 5 liters of blood. It makes up about 7 to 8% of a person's body weight. Blood plasma. Although blood appears to be a red liquid, but it is actually composed of a yellowish liquid called plasma and billions of cells. The plasma is the liquid portion of the blood. Blood cells or corpuscles float in the plasma. The plasma is a faint yellow, slightly alkaline, somewhat viscous fluid. It is a complex mixture which is in dynamic equilibrium with the intercellular fluid bathing the cells and the intracellular fluid present within the cells. It consists of about 90% water, 1% inorganic salts in true solution, and 7 or 8% proteins in colloidal state. Also dissolved in plasma are proteins, inorganic salts, dissolved gases, nutrients, vitamins and hormones, waste products, antibodies and anticoagulants.
Students, this plasma mainly contains water. It also contains dissolved proteins, salts and many other substances and makes up about 55% of blood by volume. As plasma circulates through our body, it acts like a milkman making deliveries. The plasma supplies various substances to the cells of our body and collects waste products for elimination. Blood plasma flows constantly, and the components of plasma are constantly being renewed. In addition to providing nutrition and waste removal, blood plasma also harbors cells of immune system which help to fight infections in the body and also delivers hormones and clotting factors to areas where they are needed. Now, let us discuss briefly about the components of plasma. The first one we will discuss is plasma proteins.
Plasma proteins. Plasma proteins form three major groups and these have various functions. The three groups are albumin, fibrinogen and globulins. Functions of the plasma protein are transport of insoluble substances around the body, contributes to the viscosity of the plasma, protein reserve for the body, prothrombin and fibrinogen play a role in blood clotting, protection from infection, maintenance of the acid-base balance.
Students, as you know that besides proteins, blood plasma also contains inorganic salts which occur as ions. These are important in regulating cell functions and maintaining homeostasis. Sodium and chloride are the principal cation and anion of the plasma. In addition to proteins and inorganic ions, the blood plasma carries a wide range of substances which are distributed to various tissues throughout the body. These include dissolved gases, mainly carbon dioxide, oxygen and nitrogen. Blood plasma also contains antibodies. These antibodies play an important role in inactivating the antigens, microorganisms or their toxins. In addition to these, a natural strong anticoagulant present in the plasma is a heteropolysaccharide named antiprothrombin or heparin. It checks clotting of blood in uninjured blood vessels by preventing the conversion of prothrombin into thrombin. So students, this was all about the plasma. After this, we will study the other important component of blood, which are blood cells or corpuscles.
Blood cells or corpuscles. Blood contains three types of blood cells or corpuscles: red blood cells or RBCs or erythrocytes, white blood cells or WBCs or leukocytes, platelets or thrombocytes. Let us discuss these cells one by one. Red blood cells or RBCs, also called erythrocytes, are shaped like slightly indented, flattened discs. Red blood cells are by far the most abundant cells in the blood. RBCs give blood its characteristic red color. In mammals, RBCs are circular, biconcave, and denucleated discs. RBCs have no nucleus. The nucleus is extruded from the cell as it matures. They look like biconcave discs having a depressed center on both sides. These depressed centers allow the cells to increase their surface area. RBCs are about 7 to 8 micrometers in diameter and 2 micrometers thick near the rim. The RBCs look yellowish when seen singly and appear red when viewed in bulk. They impart red color to the blood. The color is due to the presence of iron-containing pigment hemoglobin in them. So, RBCs contain an iron-rich protein called hemoglobin that actually carries oxygen. As the blood travels through the body, the hemoglobin releases oxygen to the tissues. Hemoglobin is formed during hemopoiesis. It consists of two basic parts, the iron-containing pigment heme and protein globin. It consists of a basic protein globin joined to a non-protein group heme. Hence, the name hemoglobin. Heme is an iron porphyrin ring. A mammalian hemoglobin molecule is a complex of 4 heme molecules joined with 4 globin molecules.
Students, hemoglobin is also a powerful buffering agent in the maintenance of blood pH levels. The most common blood disorder is anemia, in which an inadequate hemoglobin supply causes weakness and sometimes breathlessness. The primary function of red blood cells is to transport oxygen from the lungs to the cells of the body. Formation of red blood corpuscles is called erythropoiesis. It occurs in the liver and spleen in the fetus and in the red bone marrow after birth. After studying about the red blood cells or RBCs, now we will study the white blood cells or WBCs or leukocytes. Let us study these types of cells or corpuscles.
White blood cells or WBCs or leukocytes. White blood cells or WBCs are also called leukocytes. These are a key part of the body's vascular tissue for defending itself against infection. They can move in and out of the bloodstream to reach affected tissues. The blood contains far fewer white blood cells than red cells, although the body can increase production of WBCs to fight infection. The WBCs are colorless, rounded or irregular cells. These are nucleated cells. Their cytoplasm contains mitochondria, Golgi apparatus and centrioles and other organelles. They can change their shape and are capable of amoeboid movements. The WBCs are mostly larger than the red corpuscles. They range in size from 12 to 20 micrometers.
There are several types of white blood cells and their lifespan varies from a few days to months. White blood cells or WBCs mainly fall under two categories. The first one is granular leukocytes or granulocytes. The term granulocyte is due to the presence of granules in the cytoplasm of these cells. In the different types of granulocytes, The granules are different and help us to distinguish them. There are three types of granulocytes. Neutrophils are the most common type of white blood cells, comprising about 50 to 70% of all white blood cells. They are fast-acting and arrive at the site of infection within an hour. They are quite large and have many lobed nucleus and fine granules. The second type of cells are basophils. Basophils are fairly large and have a large S-shaped nucleus and a few coarse granules. Granules contain histamine. The basophils release histamine and heparin by exocytosis into the blood. The third type of cells are eosinophils. Granules of eosinophils contain histamine and proteins. Eosinophils are also fairly large and have a bilobed nucleus and abundant coarse granules. These cells protect the body by killing and swallowing bacteria. Students, this was all about granular leukocytes or granulocytes type of WBCs. After this, we will study the second type of WBCs, which are known as agranulocytes. They are sometimes referred to as mononuclear leukocytes. Agranulocytes is a category of white blood cells characterized by the absence of granules in their cytoplasm. There are two types of agranulocytes, lymphocytes and monocytes. Lymphocytes are primarily responsible for helping the body's immune system. Lymphocytes identify foreign substances and germs, that is, bacteria or viruses in the body, and produce antibodies and cells that specifically target them. Monocytes. These are the largest of all types of leukocytes. They have a large sub-rounded bean-shaped nucleus. The primary purpose of monocytes is to help with immune defense and rebuild damaged tissues. They also produce proteins for the body and antigens which stimulate antibody production. As now we have discussed red blood cells and white blood cells, so now it is time to discuss the third type of cells, which are known as platelets. These are also called thrombocytes. Let us see how they look like and what do they do.
Platelets or thrombocytes. Blood platelets are tiny disc-shaped cells made in the bone marrow. The platelets are the smallest formed elements of the blood. They are only 2 to 5 micrometers wide. The platelets are fewer than the red corpuscles and more than the white corpuscles in number. There are approximately 150,000 to 4 lakh platelets per microliter of blood. They have longevity of approximately 5 to 9 days. When blood vessels are cut or damaged, the loss of blood from the system must be stopped. This is accomplished by solidification of the blood, a process called coagulation or clotting. These platelets help in the clotting process. When a blood vessel breaks, platelets gather in the area and help seal off the leak by forming a clot.
Most of the time, blood functions normally, but sometimes blood disorders or diseases can cause problems. Diseases of the blood that commonly affect young people can involve any or all the three types of blood cells, that is, red blood cells, white blood cells or platelets, or the proteins and chemicals in the plasma which are responsible for clotting. Students, as you know that vascular tissues are of two types, blood and lymph. So, after studying blood, now let us quickly check out what is lymph. Students, this lymph fluid continually flows out of the thin walls of the capillaries into surrounding body tissues, where its proteins, minerals and nutrients provide nourishment to the tissues. The lymph is a clear, colorless, watery fluid. So let us study what is lymph.
Lymph. Lymph is a fluid similar in composition to blood plasma but has lower protein content than plasma and also lacks RBCs and platelets. It is derived from blood plasma. So, the lymph is filtered blood plasma. Lymph is transported throughout the body in tubes known as lymph vessels. It is clear, watery fluid. It acts as a link between blood and tissue fluid. It contains fluid matrix, plasma, and lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are a type of white blood cells that fight against infection. You have already been told that these lymphocytes attack on the germs which enter in our body and thus protect us against diseases.
So students, we have learnt enough about the vascular tissues. Let us quickly summarize what you have grabbed today. Vascular tissues arise from mesoderm of the embryo. These tissues have fluid matrix and free-floating cells or corpuscles. They circulate in the body. Vascular tissues are of two types, blood and lymph. Blood is the body's liquid that gives us life. This blood is a mixture of two components, blood plasma and blood cells. The plasma is the liquid portion of the blood. Blood cells or corpuscles float in the plasma. The plasma is a faint yellow, slightly alkaline, somewhat viscous fluid. Plasma proteins form three major groups, and these have various functions. The three groups are albumin, fibrinogen and globulins. Blood contains three types of blood cells or corpuscles, red blood cells or RBCs or erythrocytes, white blood cells or WBCs or leukocytes, platelets or thrombocytes. Red blood cells or RBCs, also called erythrocytes, are shaped like slightly indented, flattened discs. Red blood cells are by far the most abundant cells in the blood. RBCs give blood its characteristic red color. White blood cells or WBCs are also called as leukocytes. These are a key part of the body's immune system for defending itself against infection. Platelets help in the clotting process. When a blood vessel breaks, platelets gather in the area and help seal off the leak by forming a clot. Lymph is a fluid similar in composition to blood plasma but has lower protein content than plasma and also lacks RBCs and platelets. It is derived from blood plasma. So, the lymph is filtered blood plasma. Students, this was all about vascular tissues. Now, let us quickly check with some short questions what you have grabbed today. Be attentive. Here are some questions. The first question is, name the two types of vascular tissues. Answer. Vascular tissues are of two types, blood and lymph. Next question. What is plasma? Answer. The plasma is the liquid portion of the blood. Blood cells or corpuscles float in the plasma. It is a faint yellow, slightly alkaline, somewhat viscous fluid. The next question is, name the three types of blood cells. Answer. Blood contains three types of blood cells, red blood cells or RBCs or erythrocytes, white blood cells or WBCs or leukocytes, platelets or thrombocytes. The next question is, name the important types of white blood cells or WBCs present in our body. Answer. Important type of white blood cells are neutrophils, basophils, eosinophils, lymphocytes and monocytes. The next question is, what is the important function of platelets or thrombocytes? Answer. The important function of platelets or thrombocytes is coagulation or clotting of blood. The next question is, name the two components of lymph. Answer. Lymph consists of fluid matrix plasma and lymphocytes. Hope I have made a successful attempt to clear your concepts regarding vascular tissues, which will help you in fetching good marks in the exam. Thanks for your cooperation and attention. Looking forward to the next class. See you.